in my own hometown. Stranger.
Alright, there you go folks, John from Little John's Brewing. I'm sitting here in the middle of the fresh wort kit versus all grain experiment with the priming test as well. I've just gone through, I've done a very detailed review on each different priming method of the different beers to get the end of the camera, the memory card on the camera is full. I don't exactly know where I'll finish that. So quickly just going to throw this out to fill in the holes. I've got 5 beers here in front of me on the left. This is the fresh wort kit with the various carbonation methods. A 2/3 carb drop, dextrose, light dry malt, demerara sugar or raw sugar or similar, and white sugar. And I did the same with my all grain version, which I threw out on the 3V system on the same day and brewed together. Both came out with similar gravities. The homemade version was 2 points higher on the finish gravity. Sorry, 3 points higher on the finish gravity. Both started at 1040. And the fresh wort kit finished at 1007, and the all grain finished at 1010. A few extra points, neither here nor there. As I pointed out, both looked fairly similar, though the all grain version was a little bit lighter. And again, exactly why, who knows? But they're pretty close. Yeah, there's not a lot of difference there, it's only a couple of shades. Okay, and essentially what I've found with doing this is that the fresh wort kit's a quality beer. It's a good beer, plenty good enough for for any brewer to happily stick into a bottle and share with family and friends. You can't say you brewed it yourself, but where you can with this. But again, the all grain, very good beer. Slightly different due to a slightly different method with the hops, where I boiled a short boil on the end just to give a little flavour, where this was all done with the dry hopping. What I found with the priming methods, that each different method provided a good carbonation, with recommended dosages, and these are still only fairly young. They could do probably another week in the bottle before really going into the fridge. But as you can see, all these beers have got lovely head, which is to be expected. It's a brew with 47% wheat, so it should have a decent head, and it's holding really nice. These have been sitting here for about 20 odd minutes now. Actually probably close to half an hour, so they're doing really well from that point of view. What I did find was that in this brew particularly, the malt was a much rounded flavour. The sugars, the dextrose and the carb drops were a little bit sharper, and the white sugar felt like it has dried the beer out a little bit and made it a little bit hollow. It doesn't quite have the same mouth as the other methods. So basically, as I was saying previously, and I'll reiterate now, each method works and will work fine given a different style of beer and what you want to do. That malt is a much rounded, cleaner beer, but may not be what you want in a pale ale or a lager or a pilsner, where you want those hops to really jump out and the bitterness to be up front. Going to work better in your ambers and your darker beers, where your sugars, your dextrose and your carb drops are working better in your lighter beers, where they're going to jump out. So my overall impression is that no particular priming method is better than another. In this style, personally, I go the malt. But again, depends on what you want. Someone's going to say that that's a better level. That snappiness with the bitterness is better than the roundness of this one. And that's the beauty of beer. This is what we have going on. This is why we brew, and why there's so many different options and ways of doing things, and recipes and opinions and all the rest of it, because everybody's taste is a little bit different. What one person likes, another person doesn't. What someone prefers, another person doesn't. Yeah. And as I said, this isn't particularly a beer style that I overly like. I like pale ale. I don't particularly like this style of pale ale with heavily wheat influence. It's too much. I don't mind a bit of wheat in my pale ales, and I use some. But it's certainly not 47%. Well, I think it was 47%. Something crazy like that anyway. 43 at the very least. So I'm not a big fan of the Pacific Pale Ale. Not my cup of beer. So to wash up, the end of the day is that, as far as the fresh wort kits go, this one particularly, the All-In Brewing, it's a good beer. Nothing wrong with it. No reason why you wouldn't brew it. Yeah, if you want the quality of all grain, and as I said, they are very similar. Yeah, to a degree, I'm happy as a home brewer to know that what I'm knocking out there is as good as this. These are professional brewers working on professional equipment. I'm working out of an Esky, a dodgy Herm system, and my beer is as good as their beer. I'm not going to say it's better, I'm not going to say one's better than the other. They've got different tastes due to the final methods. But they're both quality beers. So, you know, if you want the flavour of all grain, without the trouble, without the expense, there you go. Dump it in, add some water, throw your yeast in, 2 packets, put in the fridge and let it go. A couple of weeks later, bottle it up, and you've got really good beer, as good as anything you're going to go and buy in the bottle shop, and realistically better than most stuff you're going to buy in the bottle shop. Yeah, I did put an all-in kit on last week as part of a different experiment regards to yeast, that 2 versus 1 packet thing. It tasted fantastic going into the fermenter, as good as, yeah, like I said, as good as any all grain you brew. So, yeah, don't shy away from the fresh wort kits if that's what you want to do. If you're sitting at home and you're brewing tins and sugars and adding stuff and trying to improve them, yeah, that's a really good way of avoiding that nonsense. Bang it in, easy, simple. Yeah, you can add to this if you wanted to. If you wanted to tweak it, but these make a really nice beer. Play around with your dry hopping and whatnot. As I said, as for the carbonation, the priming methods, it's really a personal issue on what you want and what sort of style it is that you're priming. Your malt is going to work better with your darker beers, stouts, your porters, your ambers and stuff like that. Your sugar, your carb drops and your dextrose, they're going to work fine with your lighter beers. From this, I would avoid white sugar. In everything except for, you know, maybe the lightest of bodied of lagers, you know, maybe in this, and even in an Australian lager, I think you had a stretch to want to use that. That really didn't do a lot of any favours to the beer. And the raw sugar, it just added the flavour that you really don't want, especially in a pale ale. It might be fine in a darker beer, but for my point, get rid of those 2 options. Get rid of the dex. Don't prime with white sugar. Don't prime with raw sugar. Malt, fine for darker beers, more malt focused. Makes sense, doesn't it? Malt focused. You go more for hops and the bitterness, stick with those refined quality sugar. The carb drops, glucose, and the pure dextrose. They're your better options. And as I said, these beers have been sitting for well over half an hour and they've still got a bloody lovely head on them. Yeah. That's good stuff. And that's why we brew beer, to get that sort of result. So, yeah, you can take what you want from that. Learn what you want, not learn what you want. Choice is yours. The bottom line is, you know, freshwater kits, they're good, nothing wrong with them. You know, use them if you want to. I brew all grain because I want to, because I like it, I enjoy the process. I like making my own beer and knowing that I developed the recipe, I milled the grains, I did everything in that brew myself, you know, except for growing the grain and the hops, but you know, I designed it and I'm happy to do that, you know. But they're bloody good, you know, for the guys with no room, no time, get into them bloody freshwater kits. They're not bad at all. Okay, so I've got more experiments in the works and coming up. So until then, when we chat again, yeah, have a great time, enjoy some good beers, yeah, and good brewing.